My father, of course, lost his job. It was a Jewish company and they closed right at the beginning. And my mother's business was, they didn't really have a shop as such. They stored their products, their goods, which were mostly linen and bedwear, things like this. They had a special room in the house. Well, one day someone knocked at the door and said, Jewish Jew opened the doors. We're here to take things away, and they just took everything away. All the time, there were restrictions, and the Jews were beaten up. My grandfather, who had a beard, was taken outside and told to scrub the pavements. He was one of the people who had to scrub the pavement, and they were jeering at him. Luckily, he wasn't killed. And my father, on several occasions, we lived in a big apartment block. One morning they came in and said, "Come on, you're going to sit on top of a lorry." They had collected old iron and they put all the Jews on top of the lorry, and all the people were laughing, going after them and laughing and jeering. And my mother said, "Don't take him, take me," and they just pushed her away, and of course it took him. Very soon afterwards, we were not allowed to, we were told all the Jews had to leave the school, and then there was a sort of Juden school, Jewish school, where we absolutely learned nothing, we were just sitting there. And I think this was disbanded after some time. And my mother, and there were other Austrians who thought the same thing, is that, well, if we are not allowed to go to the theater, because they already knew that the German Jews were not allowed to the theater, so all right, so we won't go to the theater. So if we're not allowed to go to amusement park, all right, so we won't go. We'll just make do. And this was really the big mistake, that everyone thought they would be tolerated, although they would have to reduce their standard of living. So we had absolutely no preparation. We weren't aware that it was going to happen. We just heard all the shops being broken into, and saw people, Jewish people, on the street bleeding and being beaten up. And we didn't, my father, I think, was in hiding, probably in the cellar, I can't remember where. And the radio really, I guess, gave mostly reports of what was happening, but it was all being whitewashed. I mean, you didn't realize how much you could see a bit from the window, but you didn't stare at the window because you were afraid when someone would see you on the other side and report that you were there, and you would be taken away. We stayed in the next day until things quietened down. And once things had quietened down, I mean, the whole time you tried really not to be obvious to you. If you could, you would have disappeared.